Welcome to the Tesla Power Podcast, the unofficial Tesla energy community covering solar panels, solar roof, and Powerwall for your home. I'm Aaron Brady. Today, let's talk about Tesla solar roof versus baseball-sized hail, the chip shortage affects Powerwall production, higher generating Tesla solar panels, and I've made a change to the way I use my Powerwall with the Tesla solar roof. Let's do it. So we don't have any comments or questions for this podcast, but if you want to participate, you have a couple of options. You can leave a comment below, you can call 203-816-5150, or you can email teslapowerpodcast@gmail.com. The more input we get, the more useful the pod will be for those looking into Tesla residential energy products. Now let's get to the news. Electrek had my favorite article this week, and it even had a video. So I'll show a quick bit of it, but the full video is really well worth the view. So it's linked below. Let's scroll down to that video. I'll take it full screen first, of course, and you can see that the size of the hail and some of the damage that was done. So there's the hail itself. And if we press play from here, you can see there are holes in the covering of their pergola. There's dents in the roof of his RV. That stuff is a little bit further down right here. Dents in the roof of his RV. But look at the solar glass roof. There's not a scratch. And what I love is that even though the metal finishing elements are on the roof, they aren't dimpled at all. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, the edge and the crown finishes, the flashings, the trimmings, they're all bent aluminum. And you can see in this video of his roof, that there is a striking texture difference between the solar glass and the edging material that suddenly goes flat. From street level, though, I got to say it looks pretty great. Of course, we all remember the videos that Tesla first released showing the toughness of the materials. First with the weights, right? And they've got them lined up. Tile, terracotta tile, slate, and then the glass tile. You can see that the Tesla glass did break. It just didn't fall apart like the rest of them, but we don't need to concentrate on that. And then they launched the hail out of a t-shirt cannon, essentially. Same deal. Breaks the other two. And I don't know. Because it's glass, you kind of get the impression that it's going to be fragile. I definitely had, thought about what it would be like if we had gotten a hailstorm. It's pretty rare up here in the east. But something maybe more likely would be like high winds. A lot more prevalent around here. They would cause debris to fall on the roof. But I don't know. It looks like it's not going to be a problem. The guy even says he's producing more after the hailstone, like more electricity. I mean, maybe you think it gave his system that deep abrasive cleaning it needed to really get those electrons flowing. I mean, I'm sure it's just the barometric pressure is really low or really high after the storm. So there's not a single cloud in the sky, and he gets a full day of max sun and bumper generation days. But really encouraging to see that the glass roof is living up to the hype. I'll need to add durability to my list of nice to haves that I add to the overall value of the solar glass roof, right? It's guapo, y fuerte, yo quiero Taco Bell. Anyway, next story. You'll remember that I had mentioned the trial that shareholders versus Elon regarding the Solar City acquisitions going on now. And there's more detail that's come out of some of his testimony. So CNBC reports, quote, Musk said Tesla will only be able to make 30,000 to 35,000 of its home batteries in a best case scenario for the period ending in September 2021, blaming the expected shortfall on chip shortages. This is another reason prices are going to rise. We have increasing demand, even though Tesla is requiring accompanying solar, and we have restraints on supply. So it's a bit crazy, how many industries are being affected by the chip shortage. The creative director wife says her company is supply constrained because of chips. I know we're supply constrained at my day job, and now we hear that Tesla Powerwalls are supply constrained. I mean, something that Tesla has never shied away from is doing vertical integration when a supplier or supply chain can't be relied upon. So don't forget that Elon and Drew Baglino have mentioned that they may even get into mining if suppliers aren't able to meet expected demand for lithium and nickel in coming years. And, Tesla, they leave their destiny in the hands of no one. They control their destiny by doing everything if they must do everything. So I don't see chip making out of their core competency, right? It's something, they're not just going to throw up their hands and walk away, from, if there's some company, if there's any company on the entire planet that's going to roll up their sleeves and make this happen, Tesla's the company to do it. So maybe we make a prediction, right? In 2 years, Tesla's taken chip production in-house by acquiring the company that makes the chip die, right? They've already designed their own FSD chip, and this is the next step. It's akin to them purchasing Hybar and Groman Engineering, right? Make the machines that make the chips that go into the machines. Let's take a look at that third article. This one's from Benzinga. They write up the press release that Tesla sent out on their bigger, better, higher wattage solar panels. You see what I did there? Quote, the company is releasing the Tesla T420S, which is going from a 360 watt panel to a 420 watt panel, a number Musk often jokes about, end quote. Now, why would Musk joke about a number? I don't get it. So these panels fit into their small, medium, large, and extra large arrays found on the configurator, right? So let's go check those out. I've put in my address already, so let's edit this. Right, so it comes in at medium, and out of interest, if I were to get the additional 8 kilowatts, right, that I was talking about in the last episode to put in the backyard, is that small, medium, or large? It looks here like it's going to be medium. And it comes in at just over the 8 kilowatt hour mark, right? 8.16 kilowatts. And how much would it cost? Of course, I can't get it without a Powerwall, so we'll set that to a minimum of 1 to keep the price low as possible. And that total comes in, cash down here, it's going to be $26,000. It's $27,000 basically. That's a lot. So take off the $10,000 for the Powerwall, and we're still at around 16 grand, and it's not as cheap as I was expecting, right? So let's go to the Goog and see what it's going to cost just for solar panels. So you can see here we've got an LG unit here and a Canadian Solar unit here. They're both 350 watt panels, and they're at about $350. So, we can presume about $1 per watt, something like that. So if I need 8,000 watts, that's going to be $8,000. And that's going to be without anything to mount them to or to tie them into. No inverters, no battery storage. But I don't know. The creative director wife and I have been talking about getting power out to the pool, but maybe we do something like this instead. So went on a huge tangent there. That all wraps the news segment this week. Let's take a quick knee and get into why I'm changing the way I use the Powerwall with our solar glass roof. So I've got more goodness on the solar glass roof videos. This one's from the front, of course. I'm taking stills from these videos to make the thumbnails for the episode, so I might as well share the detail and talk about what we're seeing here. It's just a nice shot from the front of the house. You'll notice the black aluminum crown, trim, and flashing I mentioned earlier. The texture changes quite a bit between the tiles and the trim, but this is a similar aesthetic to asphalt, I would say. I do see that premium roofs will keep the materials, more consistent. It does look, though, like the architectural patterns, they change when they're put into place. But let's look at that backyard again here. Really nice shots of the roof. Can't overstate how pleased we are with the way that it looks. But, if we were to compare this to like a slate roof, I've got some slate roofs on Google Images here. You can see how the slate roof capstones and trim break up the regular brick pattern of the slate roof tiles, especially here in the one that I've zoomed into. And the metal roofs. So those have the, vertical pinstripes until you get to the peaks and ridges where the metal is laid in like a perpendicular to the main roof sheet, so very high contrast. So if there's anything you want to take a closer look at, let me know. I'll get some detail and show you what we've got. But the big question, what is it? What is this big change that I'm making with the Powerwall? I mean, you'll remember last episode, I had done our usage calculations compared with our generation calculations and found a bit of a hole. And when I looked into the difference between our usage and our generation, I found the number I got was lower than the number I was pulling from the grid. They should be the same. Why weren't they the same? Conversion loss. For the month, the loss was substantial. It was about 13%. 13%. So I've been obsessively checking my loss and trying to figure out what's going on. But I see that it's been really low these last few days. So let's see if I can pull up the app. Let me get screen sharing going first, and then I'll pull it up on the screen. I noticed, not yesterday's, but the day before, the loss there, for example, we were at a really low number, but let's calculate it up. I just need to get it to the foreground again so that it refreshes often. There we go. And then I got to resize it every time for whatever reason. Just getting it right sized so I can bring it up. Okay. Nice and like a glove. So there's my beautiful family. So waiting for it to catch up to me here. So here's my home energy usage. If I go into power flow, and then I pull up energy usage, doesn't look like it's going to keep up with me. Oh, so sad. Yeah, it might just be better for me to talk through this, but we're only at about 1% loss the day before yesterday. So we generated barely anything. So we were mostly taking from the grid. And since we were generating less, we were losing less to conversion. But why wasn't the percentage the same, right? Well, we noticed something else conspicuous when we checked the other categories on the app. You can see here, we're barely using our Powerwall. So that got me thinking about where the conversions are taking place. So let me show you a quick video that I took earlier. Let's just take it full screen. So you can see here the two lines coming in from the roof. They're the gray lines with the red label. They come in from the solar glass roof into the two inverters. Those are the two things that are side by side. It's a little junction box. They're then combined into the switch, which then goes into the internal meter. The internal audit meter then goes through and feeds the Powerwall. So to recap, we convert the solar. So to recap, we convert from the solar roof's DC back to the meter's AC, back to the battery's DC, and then when we use the electricity, we convert it back to AC again. This means the more we use our Powerwall, the more electricity we lose due to conversion loss. It's even worse than that. Not only are we losing electricity to conversion loss, but we're cycling the battery. We're lowering its capacity and shortening its useful life. I mean, why would we want to lower the capacity and shorten the life of our Powerwalls and get lower efficiency from our system? I mean, all of this is so wrong. So what I want to do is be as, there are some that want to be as self-powered as possible. Totally cool, totally fine for them, I guess. For us, we need that battery to last so we'll have as much power as possible when we really need it, like during a grid down situation. And not only that, we're extending the payback period of the system by not sending as much electricity back to the grid as possible. So I've mentioned a couple of times that the battery doesn't figure into the payback period because we don't have time of day rates. Well, if we use the Powerwall, it ends up figuring in all right negatively. So I have now opted to do backup only mode. And I would show you on the app if it were keeping up with me. Let me see if I can pull it up again. Even just relaunching it, right? Exit the program. I'm just asking this poor computer to do too much. I mean, even once I get it reconnected, it's going to require me to resize it. So anyway, I've switched the app to backup only mode. And oddly, there's a section for how much you want to reserve of the battery, but it doesn't let you change that. It doesn't let you change that value. You can't reduce it from 100%. Now, there's research that suggests that keeping a battery at max charge can lower its useful life, but I do know that thermal management matters way more than state of charge. Now, those that have been around YouTube a while might have run into Jack Rickard from EVTV. He was a really salty dude, but he knew what he was talking about. And he went deep into battery tech and had gone through several research papers over the years showing results of testing both lab and real world and the effect they had on capacity. I've got a photo of him here. Jack Rickard. So by far the most important is temperature. The state of charge and the deep cycling matter less now that chemistries have improved. But if you maintain a good, consistent operating temperature, you can lengthen both the cycle life and the capacity of the battery significantly. So I've linked a couple of his videos below. They are some classics. I recommend them highly if you want to understand battery longevity principles. Of course, we lost Jack last year. He was a tremendous educator and a truth seeker and didn't mince words, and he was great. And there's another classic video where he rants against the power company for running his solar system through the meter the wrong way. It's really hilarious stuff. Again, that video is linked below. So, summary. We will no longer be using our Powerwall daily, and we'll monitor our electricity generation against our grid usage to make sure they're much closer going forward. The net metering is where the economic value is for this system, so we need to maximize that value. I mean, if United Illuminating, our utility, wants to start paying for the electricity coming out of our Powerwalls, then this might change. But For now, though, we shall only use them for emergency backup. And that wraps episode 11 of the Tesla Power Podcast, the unofficial Tesla Energy community. I'm Aaron Brady. Please use my referral code. It's in the description. Go to ts.la/Aaron62310 before you place your order. It's interesting because you put that in and you navigate to it, but it just loads the standard Tesla webpage without giving you any indication that you have a referral code active. Anyway, just browse, place your order, and you'll get a few bucks off your order or some free supercharging if you happen to be ordering a car. Thank you for hanging out to the bitter end. Let's do this again next week.